All right, good morning, everybody. We're live out here on the side of the Fox 8 building, and with me, of course, is AJ Petitti. AJ, how's it going?
Wonderful. It's hard to believe.
It's been 2 weeks since we planted the garden. You guys planted the garden. Give us an update. Our friend's back, the Wisney.
Yeah, our buddy's back, and he's enjoying himself.
Yes, he is.
You know, he's a good guest. You know, he leaves a little bit for us as he takes his nibbles, but you know, he's trimmed back the zucchini a little bit, trimmed back some of the Swiss chard.
Right.
But the garden's actually doing great. We're sitting in really good shape. Things are growing. Things are going to be in, you know, just kind of moving along this season. So right now, there's really just not a lot to do. Just if you are looking at your herbs, that's the one thing that you really want to pay attention to. You know, your parsley, your basil, cilantro. Make sure you're harvesting. It's important to keep that cycle going. Good time to plant
the garden if you haven't done it.
Absolutely. It's Memorial Day weekend, which it's hard to believe that we're here already.
I know, exactly.
No, things are really moving along well.
Good, good.
And then you really want to start taking a look actually at your lawns this weekend. So there's a couple big things that are going on. So you want to get your step 2 down, so your weed and feed. And the weed and feed is a little bit different than other fertilizers because you actually want to put this down when the grass is wet. Okay. So it's important to get that herbicide to stick to the blades of the
Do it
weeds.
In the morning if it's not raining, maybe when there's dew on the grass?
Yeah, that's a perfect time. So early in the morning, or you have to water your lawn and then put it down. But the morning is a perfect time to put it down, but because the insecticide or the herbicide works on foliar contact, on leaf contact, and so it has to stick to the leaves to get absorbed in. So that, and then opposite of that, you want to put your grub X down now. So if you haven't put that down, get that down, and that you want to water in. Okay. So you want to make sure that you get that down. That'll help. And once you get in a cycle, if you've had issues with grubs, getting in a cycle of putting your grub X down, that'll prevent that pretty much forever. So getting that down every year. And then actually lawn weeds. So weeds are coming in a big way right now. You'll see them in your flower beds. In your flower beds, you want to make sure that you spray as much as you can. I know sometimes it's difficult because they kind of position themselves right by your favorite plants. So either some cardboard in between helps, because the same thing, that works through leaf contact as well. So, you know, a nice piece of cardboard and then spraying it. Or if you have to pull, but when you pull, most times you don't get the whole root, so it will come back. And then in the lawn, there's a couple options, but Weed Beater Ultra is my favorite. It's great to use it by concentrate, especially if you've got really persistent weeds. So like clover, or especially if you've got ground ivy, things that are just, you know, they're persistent, they're difficult to get rid of. So, and when you go to apply it, make sure it doesn't rain for 24 hours after you apply it. And then you want to apply it probably 3, 4, 5 times in 7 to 10 day intervals. So just putting it down once isn't going to be enough to take care of it, but after 3, 4 cycles, you should see it. And if it still persists, just keep on applying it every week, and that'll eventually get rid of, you know, any weeds that you have in the lawns.
The fact that May has been not really super hot, it's been kind of cool. Coolest May we've had in 15 years. We haven't had much humidity at all. With those conditions kind of being prevalent here and might continue for a while, is there anything that could, with those weather conditions, cause that you're watching heading into early June, or is it just, hey, it's May?
It's, you know, honestly, it's May, and you know, the lack of humidity is great. It's less disease, less fungus. Right. You can kind of see in the garden, short of our buddy, you know, things are looking wonderful. Sure. You know, when the heat comes on, you know, that adds stress, and you know, that adds stress as we go through the summer, and it takes a lot more water and just a lot more to watch. But honestly, the conditions we've had have been ideal. It's been a great May.
So I got a question, and this piggybacks over what we talked about last week about transplanting and planting. So I transplanted a rose bush, okay, to another side of the house, and it seems like it's not taking quite as aggressively as maybe the peonies I just transplanted. What's something you need to be careful of when you're transplanting, moving it, and then, you know, setting it into a new spot?
So you want to take as much root mass as you can. Okay. And looking at kind of the width of the branches is kind of a good indicator of how much you should be taking. I know a lot of times it's not realistic, but you know, take as much of that root as you can, and then when you go to dig that hole, dig that twice as wide as the root mass that you just took out. And then this, you really want to make sure that you amend the soil really well. It's important for that to have a soft landing spot so those roots can really push out easily. And then there's biotone or other root stimulators. You want to make sure that you mix that in with that soil. That way you can give that plant just every advantage that you can get it, so that the roots start growing, and then just fertilize on top of it. And you really want to make sure that you water it in well. So, and actually these temperatures, with it being cool like this, it's ideal. So it's just a lot less stress on the plant. If it was really warm, I'd advise against doing it all together, but you know, with the way the weather is, you know, should be good to go.
Good stuff, AJ.
Awesome.
Always a pleasure. Looking forward to June, which is right around the corner.
Hard to believe.